Welcome to the Martin Brothers Holiday Remembrance program. We're so glad you could join us. Today, those of you and all of us who have lost loved ones over the years, Christmas time and the holidays can be a very difficult time, and remembering our loved ones that have gone before us is often difficult. We hope this time that you get to share with us, you'll find some kind of joy, some kind of solace in remembering those loved ones. So we're happy you're here, and for over 15 years we've been doing this program, and this program is doing it virtually, as we're so accustomed to now. But thank you for joining us, and I'm Dale Martin Jr. of Martin Brothers Funeral Services, and I hope you enjoy the program. Thank you.
When snowflakes dance on winter winds and colored lights shine Christmas cheer, when children's laughter fills the air and family gathers from far and near, I try to celebrate with them and not let my hurting show, but the empty spaces within my heart as this season seems to grow. Till oftentimes it fills the days and many night times too, with aching thoughts and memories of Christmases I spent without you. Yes, memories do hurt, it's true, but I have this feeling too. I'm so glad I hold these memories, for with them I hold a part of you. So for now, I'll wipe away the tears and join with loved ones dear to celebrate this Christmas time, for I know that in my heart you're here.
Silent night, a holy night, all is calm and all is bright around yon virgin mother and child, a holy infant so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. A silent night, a holy night. The shepherds quake at the sight, and glory stream from heaven afar, and heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born, and Christ the Savior is born. A silent night, a holy night, a Son of God in love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. A silent night, a holy night, all is calm and all is bright around yon virgin mother and child, a holy infant so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. A silent night, a silent night.
Hello, my name is Toby Boulay. This is my daughter Mariko Boulay and my wife Bernadine Boulay. We're the parents and the sister of Logan Boulay. Logan passed on April 7th, 2018, and we're here to talk about grief during the Christmas holidays. But first, I just want to talk about grief. To us, all three of us agree, grief never changes. It's like a circle. That's your grief. It never changes. We've heard so many times that, oh, you're feeling better, it's getting softer around the edges, you must be moving on. You're never moving on, you're just moving forward. So your grief stays the same, but we feel that our life becomes fuller. So as our life gets fuller, the grief remains. So that's kind of how we're looking at our life right now. And I think Mariko just wants to add a few things to that part of the conversation.
Yeah, so this is our fourth Christmas without our Logan. And it kind of breaks all of our hearts a little bit when we think about that, because it feels still like yesterday that we saw him, and it also feels like it's been 100 years. So each day has its own journey to it, and as my dad said, it's kind of your journey of moving along but not moving on is kind of how I like to word it. So one of our favorite kind of Christmas traditions we've incorporated into our lives since we haven't been able to have Logan be here physically with us is we do Christmas memories kind of before we open gifts. And we have two families that we do this with, the Boulay family, so my dad's family, and then the Higo family, which is my mom's family. And we have a picture out of Logan with a sign that just says, write your favorite memory, trait, or just something that reminds you of Logan, and put it in the box. People can sign their names or not, and then we kind of all take turns reading these memories out loud of what they are before we open gifts or after dinner or whenever that feels. And it makes a moment for all just to like sit, think about our boy, and have some laughs, have some tears, and then we guess of who it is. And sometimes it's very, very obvious who it is, and sometimes it's very shocking of who remembers what about Logan. And I just remember the very first Christmas that we did this, and it was just so heartbreaking. It had been 9 months since we'd lost Logan, and none of us knew what to do. You could just see like the people were going into the corners and crying, people just trying to hold it together. There'd be laughter, and then someone would look and glare, and it was just like incredibly challenging. So it just gave us that moment to give ourselves some grace and just like, let's acknowledge the fact that this person who brings us all together isn't here, and there's nothing we can do about it, but let's remember him and make it feel like he is here. And I just remember after we read those memories, you looked around, because I get the honor of reading them out loud and kind of experiencing them firsthand, because I just decided to do that, to be that one that does that, still being the bossy older sister, even though Logan's not here for me to actually boss around anymore. And yeah, I just remember looking around and seeing tears pouring down some people's faces, some people smiling, some people laughing, and at the end you could just feel this sense of like, relief. And it's like, yes, Logan's not here. Yes, we're struggling. Yes, this is hard, but we feel it. We feel him here with us, and he's still bringing us together and still making us laugh. And for our family, that's been very, very, very helpful. It doesn't replace anything, but it's helped us a lot. Yeah. And to be able to do that with both sides of the family brings two completely different sets of memories. And it's a lot of fun, as fun as it can be. And I think, and last year for COVID, we were able to bring it in by emailing out the memories and having people email them in, and I kind of made a little PDF booklet, and that was really nice to be able to share that with everyone, to still have them have the opportunity if they wanted to read them on Christmas, and make that a part of their tradition. So just as a part of that, I think the most important for me for the holidays is just to give that opportunity to acknowledge. So to know, like, this person isn't here, this is extremely hard, and I'm broken, and I need to just make sure people know that this is what's happening for me. You don't need to announce it. What that looks like for you can be completely different. What that looks like for me versus my mom versus my dad can be really different, but just having that moment. For example, in the first Christmas with our Boulay family, we always say grace, and my uncle didn't even have the words to say grace. He was just like, and I don't have anything to say, and let's just take a moment to think about our boy. And you could just hear silence, and people were like crying and sad, nothing. And he's like, and amen, Merry Christmas. And you can just see everyone looked up, and there was like, we all stood a little taller, we had some smiles. People like didn't have to hold it together, because you had that moment to just be like, he's not here, and we're broken, and we're together, and that's what we need in this moment. So I think that's, give yourself the grace, acknowledge that your person isn't here, whoever that person is to you, and do what you need to do.
Thanks, Rico. Got to put some humor in there.
Trying to figure out how to segue into the next part. Christmas is one of those times, and so many different milestones that we have in our lives, birthdays, anniversaries, when we have all kinds of traditions, things that you have done for years, things that you did as a child and you did as you grew up, things that you created as like married couples and once you had children, and you have all kinds of traditions. And I think that we found that some of our traditions were really hard to continue, and we didn't really want to do them, or I found I didn't want to do them. I had no desire to do them anymore, that there was a hole. And so we think that one of the things is that it's okay to not do those traditions anymore. It's hard because you know that traditions are important to some parts of your family and they want to continue on with that. But you have to be able to give yourself that ability to take that pause, take that time, and to step back if that tradition's not going to be something that you can do, and it'll just make it more difficult on you. Our family always used to have a Christmas card, and I'd take pictures, and at first it was like, okay, we have one picture, and then it got to the point where we could never get together all the time to have that one picture taken, so we would do kind of a montage of pictures of things that were important for us in that year. And then when Logan wasn't there, it was like, you can't put a card together without someone there. So that was something we didn't do. And we found that we knew people really looked forward to our Christmas card, and people looked forward to reading our Christmas letter. But people understood why we weren't doing it, and they understood that that wasn't happening. And so they were good about that, and they were, they gave us that moment, and they gave us that time, and they gave us that space. So that's really important. I think that it's okay to not do those traditions. It's okay to give a pause to them. We might go back. There'll be a time when our lives continue to be a little bit different and a little bit, we get filled with other people in our lives, and we may go back to that. But for now, it's something that we've just given a pause to and are not doing that. And it's okay to do that. And people understand that. I think that you feel that there's lots of pressure on you, whether it's a birthday or Christmas or an anniversary, to be doing that and to make that time that you have to continue that. But it's okay not to do that. But one of the traditions I did continue, and even though Logan's not around, is when on our last Christmas, and Logan was 20 years old, and I had bought him Lego every year for Christmas. And he's 20 years old, and he kept looking around underneath the tree, and he said, well, there should be one more gift. And we said, like, no, we're all done. He goes, well, where's my Lego? I always get Lego. So on Boxing Day, we had to go out and buy him Lego. So that's a tradition I have kept, and I continue to get him Lego, and I take the time to like really think about the best kind of Lego set that he would like. So last year for Christmas, he got a Lego that was a red Ferrari, a Lego set that was a red Ferrari, and on his birthday, or on his day of passing, I sat at the cemetery and I put it together on the grass. It was a warm day, and I had my blanket out, and he and I put Lego together. So that was I guess that's kind of like a new tradition that we've started with, having Lego, and we'll put it together with him on his day of passing. So sometimes it's important that you can't go on with old traditions, but you build new traditions that work for now, what your family is like, and your how life has changed for you.
And so in new traditions, this is one that we could have avoided, I guess, if we didn't want to do it, but we like to decorate Logan's monument. We feel we have a beautiful monument for Logan, and so we decorate it with each of the seasons: Halloween, Easter, his birthday, Green Shirt Day, and now it's just been redecorated for Christmas. And people come to see Logan and visit Logan, and I don't know, we like to decorate Logan's monument. And it's important to us that we keep things, and we recycle things, and we buy new things every year, and we make it nice. And other people in that part of the cemetery who have just lost their loved ones, they decorate their monuments. I don't know if it's because of us or it's like, you got to be nice to the next one. But there's lots of nice monuments out there, and they're really nice anyway. But people decorate them, and we think it's really special. And that's one thing that we do now for Christmas and all the seasons. We change Logan's decorations, and that's important to us. And Rico.
Do you want to do your stories?
Yeah.
That's right.
Something else that we found is really important to us is collecting stories.
Yeah.
I've always been a person who collected stories and wanting to know more about people. But now with Logan not with us here, we find it really important. So we are always asking people for stories because there's things that we don't know about Logan, or we might know a little piece about it, but it coming from someone else who might have been at that place is important for us to know. So we ask people and we collect to give us stories, to write down memories, to something that was funny, something that was sad, something that they remember that's important to them about their relationship with Logan. And we keep that, and that gives us comfort to be able to read about Logan in a different light from different people, and to know that he was important to other people and not just us, so that we know that it's not just our loss, but it's many people's losses, that they lost a friend, a cousin, a nephew, a grandchild, that people share their stories with us, and we collect them and keep them close to our heart, and we read them when we just need to have Logan with us.
Yeah. I was just in Humboldt yesterday, and I met a couple people that knew Logan, and they told me stories. It was awesome. It was amazing. I just, we love stories. Marika, sorry to cut you off there.
And yeah, just one final note is that each tradition, as I said, find that moment to acknowledge what has happened and how that impacts you. And my mom talking about the Lego, that's kind of her thing. I support it, and I'm there, and it's always fun to watch her open up the gift she bought for Logan and be like, Lego, oh my God.
Yeah,
so I find that a special moment between them.
Logan would like that.
Decorating the cemetery, like I do it, I support it 100%, and I'll go when I need to, but it's not my cup of tea. And for me, for Christmas, what I do is I've been the keeper of Logan's special bucket hat. It's bright red, and that's been my tree topper now for the past, well, this is the 4th Christmas it's been my tree topper, and I feel like it'll always be my tree topper. I stuff it with plastic bags and stick it on the tree, and it's just one of those things that can be so incredibly heartwarming to be like, there's my brother. He would think this is awful and hilarious. And other times it's heartbreaking and I want to cry and tear down my tree. And just giving yourself that moment to know this is hard, this is tough. It might be easier, it might never be easier. And yeah, just surround yourself with people who understand, who care, who love you, who love your person. Give yourself that space and that time. And just, you can do it. The holidays are hard, but you are loved. And we are loved by each other. And we miss our boy. And we're grateful we can incorporate him into our Christmas and our other traditions.
And thank you very much on behalf of the Boulay family for welcoming us to make this very, very brief presentation on grief. And you all know about grief, but thank you for allowing us to give you our perspective on what we've done the last 4 years. Thank you.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains.
Hi, Lori. I'm really glad that we're able to be together to be involved in the Martin Brothers Holiday Remembrance program again this year. And of course, a little bit different now with a video broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so different. I'm really missing the people in the chapel and just that connection that we usually have. But I'm glad we're able to do it this way as well.
Yes. And as you're probably aware, and our viewers are aware, there are a number of special cultural and religious recognitions and events that take place in December and January of each year. There's, of course, the Jewish Hanukkah. I've been learning a little bit recently about the African-based celebrations called Kwanzaa. And then for many Japanese people, there is Omisoka, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly, so I apologize. And that's a New Year's celebrations activities for some of the Japanese folks. But when we speak of December holidays, the one that comes to mind for most people, of course, would be Christmas. And you've probably noticed, along with everybody else, that one of the common printed greetings for Christmas this time of year is Merry Xmas. And we might think of this as just a simple abbreviation for Christmas, but it actually has a little bit more particular history and meaning than that. In the Greek alphabet, X is the symbol for the letter Chi, and Chi is the first letter in the Greek word for Christ, Christos. And so in that way, it can be seen as simply an abbreviation. But it's more than that. In the early days of the Christian church, believers used to reveal their status as a believing Christian to one another, kind of secretively, by using the letter X, Chi. And Lori, I know this because I did a little bit of a Google search on it recently.
Of course you did.
Okay. And so that X is the primary X of Christmas. It's Christ. And we do wish all of our viewers the peace and the love and the hope that comes through the person of Jesus Christ.
Yes, for sure. We have some other X's that we need to talk about here. 3 of them, actually. We want to explain the 3 X's of holiday grief. 3 ways we can respond when carrying the heaviest of loss into the holiday season. The first X is exit. Other words that we can use here include withdraw or isolate. The holidays are intended to be times of celebration, happiness, laughter, and togetherness. But most people, and for most people, they are. But for someone that's hurting from a recent loss, it can be anything but that.
That's right. And here's another related EX word, Lori, expectations. Grievers often feel that there are expectations upon them to participate in the same way as usual, at a time for them when nothing is usual at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pressure to act happy can simply be too much, so they choose to exit or stay at home, stay alone. And that's understandable. So what does the exit option offer, Brian?
So there are some benefits to the exit choice. Exit allows being alone, when the presence of other people around creates some pressure to act differently than we actually feel. Exit allows quiet, when all the noise and activity seem like some kind of an assault on the sanctity of our sorrow. Exit allows for freedom, freedom from the many questions and about our loss, how we're feeling, etc., how we're doing. And then there's the often unhelpful suggestions and comments that come from very well-meaning people, such as, you just need to give it some time. You need to stay busy, or don't feel bad. You know they're in such a much better place.
For sure. Yeah, and we hear that a lot.
And then, sorry, there's one more I got here. Exit also allows for rest. When, frankly, when we've experienced a significant loss, we can feel totally emotionally drained and exhausted, and often physically as well.
Absolutely.
So those are some of the things that the exit option provides.
For sure. And those are good things, definitely a form of self-care, but there are some disadvantages to exit too. It denies us the opportunity to tell our stories and have our loved ones remembered, by the way, which most grievers mention as one of the biggest things that they wish would happen is to be heard. It also denies us the opportunity of that supportive contact from others that also know or knew our loved one, who are also hurting.
Right. And so that's our first EX option, exit. The second is excess, Lori.
Yes, Brian, and if exit means to step away, excess means jump right in. And here we're talking about the decision to buck up and head full on into the holiday spirit. This might mean mega decorating, extra generous gift buying, over the top partying, eating, and drinking. The subconscious or even conscious objective here is to bury the pain under an avalanche of activity, or services, or commercialism, merrymaking, if you will. Here the griever is not only meeting the expectations, but far exceeding them.
Exceeding them. And so we bump into another appropriate EX word there, Lori. And there are benefits to the excess option as well. Excess provides the opportunity to have approval from others. It feels good to have somebody say, you know what, Brian, you're doing so well. Keep going, man. Proud of you. When actually I'm not. Excess allows for the distraction of activity. All the things that are going on can move our thoughts away from the sorrow of loss to all the things that are happening around. And then excess can allow for the enjoyment of participation, the things that are happening that we get to take part with others. And then excess can also seem to make the holiday season move by more quickly. It's an awkward, difficult time when we've experienced significant loss. If I can just get through this quickly, maybe something better will be coming down the road.
Absolutely. So there are disadvantages to excess for the griever, of course. The activity and busyness, if you will, is only a short-term distraction to our sorrow and our pain. The stress of pretending or putting on the happy face and the risk of appearing fine, with the result that our loss goes unrecognized.
And so we have exit and we have excess. But really, most grievers try to find some kind of middle ground in these things. But the inherent problems remain the same. Exit is an escape. Excess is a distraction. Neither of them help us to address the sorrows and disappointments of the loss, or to find new ways of keeping our loved one in our memories and conversations without them turning painful.
Yep, for sure. So what we'd like to suggest is the third X, which is experience. And this may sound a little bit foolish because, as we know, the people that are listening to this have experienced a loss. And so they're definitely full on experiencing things.
That's right. So experience. What we're suggesting here is a deliberate encounter with our loss and an inclusion of its meaning and all its implications into our lives. And we're suggesting that this can happen during the holidays. But to be clear, we are aware that how painful this really can be for people. And so we encourage viewers to take these suggestions just as much as you're able to do them. Measured steps as you feel able.
Absolutely. Experience the loss by acknowledging it and its impact on you. Allow yourself to feel what you feel. And it's okay to feel. And it's okay to not be okay. Give yourself permission to admit to others how you're feeling, recognizing that some aren't going to understand and some won't want to hear about it. Pretending is hard and heavy, but acknowledging can also be hard and heavy. You know, but it is so freeing.
And it's freeing, exactly. So also encouraging experiencing the loss by sharing it. Sharing our stories is important, and it's very healthy. Being heard is affirming and healing. We do suggest some selectivity in who you're going to share your story with, and suggest that doing that with folks that we already know are good listeners is a good idea.
Yep. So experience the loss by including your people who have died through memories and tributes. This can be a plan, like really planned, such as having a toast to the person during dinner, or setting a place for them at the dinner table, or including their favorite dish as part of the meal. Or it can be spontaneous. My person would have loved or laughed at this or that, or they would have said this. Or I'm really missing my loved one's humor or smile, or whatever it is you're missing. Remember that tears are normal and healthy and okay, and there's no need to apologize for them.
Thanks, Lori. Good suggestions. So we've touched on exit and excess. And those are two holiday strategies that come rather easily to us, that we're drawn into, and they do provide some short-term benefit. The choice to encounter our losses through a more engaging experience, as we've suggested, is challenging. But we suggest that it offers more promise for honoring our deceased loved ones and bringing their memories into the holiday experiences.
Yeah. And however difficult or manageable or even enjoyable the holidays mean, they will soon end and a more regular life will return. We each deal with loss in unique ways, and some find the adjustments come more easily than others. Some find the lingering pain of the sorrow, regret, and anger just doesn't seem to subside. And that's what our grief recovery programs are meant for, is to help those hurting people. We provide the step-by-step process for moving through loss to help people heal their broken heart.
And we love to be
Oh,
able
we
to
love
offer
to
those
do that.
programs.
Sure do.
And so this is our invitation to our viewers to consider becoming part of one of our group programs. And specifically, our next group grief recovery program at Martin Brothers will begin January 11th, Tuesday, January 11th, 7 p.m. at the Martin Brothers Riverview Chapel location, 6th Avenue and 4th Street South here in Lethbridge. That will be an information session where folks that think they might benefit from this kind of a program for grief recovery want to find out a little bit more. And so you can come in and learn some of what our program entails. For those who feel they'd like to become part of the group program, January 18th is the first of our 8-week weekly sessions. That's a Tuesday evening, again 7 p.m. at Martin Brothers. And it's important to let our viewers know that there will be a limitation on the numbers of participants in this program. So we encourage you, if you're feeling like this might be something of benefit to you, to give Martin Brothers office a call and have your name added to our sign-up list for our winter group.
Yes, thank you, Brian. So it is our sincere wish for everyone that's listening tonight or watching that you receive the care you need during this holiday season and as you journey through this time of loss.
Thanks, Lori.
Thanks, Brian.
Now, Elizabeth Martin Young is going to read for us a selection of poetry with the music of The Harp by local harpist Karen Barg. We encourage you to use this quiet time for your own benefit as you see fit and meaningful. You may choose to light a candle or just use this opportunity for quiet meditation, reflection, and prayer.
I will light candles this Christmas, candles of joy despite all sadness, candles of hope where despair keeps watch, candles of courage for fears ever present, candles of peace for tempest-tossed days, candles of grace to ease heavy burdens, candles of love to inspire all my living, candles that will burn all the year long.
From all of us at Martin Brothers.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!